Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host. Welcome back to the Better Way to Farm podcast. I'm your gracious host, Tyler, National Field Agronomist for the team. As you know, we spend every day increasing yields and improving profits. Now, I want to invite you in today and share a story of a client of ours from Illinois. He's been able to add yield and increase farm profits, which is a vital step, especially for surviving 2025. If you would, please help me welcome to the show my good friend, Curt. Thank you very much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know it's a busy time. Really appreciate it. But we wanted to get your story out. I guess I'll obviously let you tell it, but you've been working with the Better Way to Farm team for a few years now and have had some tremendous results and are doing some pretty cool things. So we just wanted you to share your story, but why don't you kind of set that stage for our audience? So tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, from Northwest Illinois, fourth generation farmer, fifth generation on one of the parcels. And we got started. We was kind of seeing some yield plateaus, kind of questioning things that were going on, trying to find answers. They'd been looking around for quite some time and trying to do extra soil testing, not finding anybody that could really give us any good answers. And I'd been following Better Way to Farm here for couple of years at that point in time, and finally said, you know what, these guys seem to be saying things that make sense. Trying to do some own personal research, kind of validate some of that. Things were adding up, and I finally just decided, hey, we need to make that phone call. We need to learn more. We need to find out what's going on. Find out what can we do to make things better.
Yeah. When you were searching, who were you working with? Did you have a dedicated agronomist, or were you trying to do stuff on your own, or what did that look like as you're kind of like just trying to surf through all these waves and try to get this stuff figured out? Did you have any guidance or any help at all?
At the time, we were working with our local co-op and agronomy specialist that truly didn't know what he was doing.
Really? There's those out there? That's interesting.
Unfortunately, yeah, there is. And as we look around, today, knowing what I've learned with working with the team and the events that they've got, yeah, I see more and more of it every day.
Yeah, at those 2-day fundamentals of agronomy events, you've heard me tell this horrible dad joke before. It's not really a joke. It's absolutely true that I was an agronomy sales specialist at the first retail location that I worked at. And agronomy sales specialist does not fit on a business card. So you have to abbreviate agronomy sales specialist, and that turns you into an ASS. And it's, a joke, and everybody kind of laughs, and it's it's lighthearted, but it's almost scary now. How long have you been with us?
I came to my first fundamentals of agronomy in 2020. So we're going into our fifth season right now.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that, up until 5 years ago, you didn't realize that your trusted advisor may have his own agenda, or maybe just doesn't really truly know. And it kind of sounds like you were in that boat. So you were searching for something. You weren't quite getting the help that you needed. I appreciate that you were already doing soil tests, because now how important soil testing is to, our system and our beliefs, not over applying or under applying anything, making sure you have the exact amount of what you need. What was it that drove you to kind of reach out? I know that you'd said that you'd been following the page for a while. It was just one of those things, or was there something that happened that you said, I've got to do this? I mean, you're fourth, fifth gen farmer. I'm sure you want to pass that on to future generations. What was that kind of motivating factor to make you reach out?
Well, like I said, we'd been trying to pull some extra soil tests, trying to get answers. And like I said, this guy he's like, well, I don't know. We really don't know about micronutrients. We don't deal with them. And I was like, okay. And so I'm trying personally to do some research. And like I said, I've been listening around on the podcast on Facebook, and it was just what he was saying made sense. There was something about it that just kind of clicked. It's like they're on to something. At that point, I still didn't know what the something was, but I was searching for answers. I was hungry for information at that point in time. And I will admit, I come into that first meeting and kind of felt massively overwhelmed with information, but went home and kind of shaking my head, going, "Now what do I do?" And and that was when we started pulling our own soil tests, soil samples, get the results back. We start seeing some, we start reading the results, reading the recommendations. I'm going back to that fundamentals agronomy manual that you get to take home, that book, and reading through it. And I'm still trying to process this and put pieces together, but I know there's something there that we need to do. At that time, I had started working with another company with some liquid products, and I'm not saying the products were bad, but that was the situation where it was, send us your soil test for all the fields you want, and then we'll make you a blend. And I'm thinking that might work. We did see some plant health benefits with that particular system, but I had a real hard time saying this one blend works for everything. And I think that was probably the tipping point where it was like, okay, we need to go a little different direction here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you because I know that you are, big into research and you like your numbers and everything. And I've never really thought about it before. But you were already doing some soil tests and trying to work with a guy, and then you come into, our agronomy event and you leave there and you're like, holy smokes, I got to do, not that we do anything different, but we do work with one particular lab. And we've had our system has been in place for over 30 years. So our recommendations are very, very specific. Did you feel like there was kind of an aha moment between the soil tests and I guess ultimately did you feel like you were more empowered to become your own agronomist?
Actually, yes, because I understood what was going on. I was understanding that there was different nutrient ratios we need to be looking at. I felt like at that point, I still had a lot to learn, but I felt like I could look at a soil test and actually feel comfortable knowing what the numbers in front of me were telling me.
Yeah, like I said, I've never asked that question before, and as we keep thinking about this, you've been here a short 5 years. I've been here over 10, and one of the things that I have seen, especially the last few years, is this extreme growth in interest, whether, it's just clients like yourself coming in and working with us. We're not going to talk about it on this episode. Maybe later you have also joined kind of the sales side, the personal development side. So I definitely appreciate that as well. But I wanted to get out of the retail side because I felt like there were some people in there that were making recommendations that I wouldn't recommend. And now we have a group of, growers. Obviously Rod does a fantastic job. Preston taught me a whole heck of a lot. I had some experience on the side, but now with you and Chris and Sam and, everybody that's joining the team now, I probably feel like we have a more solid group of crop consultants, agronomists that than most retail co-ops do. So yeah, I think we turn everybody into, if they want to be, we turn everybody into their own agronomist. As you went to your first fundamentals of agronomy event, kind of that 2 day event, then you came back. We give you a 3-inch 3-ring binder. It's full of information that you can take back to your farming operation. We tell people all the time, hey, if you're open to come taking a look, we can get you 20, 25, $30 an acre worth of value just out of the information that's provided. And I know that you would agree with that, especially now looking back, 5 years and seeing that progress. So as you left that program and asked yourself, man, now what do I do? Where do I start? What or who kind of helped you get you to where you're at today? What are some of those pieces of advice that you'd give to the grower listening that hasn't reached out to us yet?
If you're on the fence, If there's something you think isn't right, if there's something you think you need to know that somebody's not telling you, make that phone call. Ask somebody. Reach out to the team. Rod has been a great help to me, but I'm not going to say Rod's the only one that's helped me. There's been so many members of the team, even yourself. I've called you by at least a few times, just asking questions, trying to figure out is this plan that I think I should do, is it right? And the whole team member aspect of it is great because you really get to where instead of going to the co-op and saying, "Hey, is Joe in?" I can reach out to a number of people and say, "Hey, here's what I think we should be doing," or "Here's my situation. What's your recommendations? Is this right?" And it seems like it doesn't matter who I call within the team. I'm always getting an honest, open perspective of what's going on and what kind of results may come out of it. It's probably one of the better aspects of it is the fact that I don't have to go track down one guy that's got a sales agenda or quotas to make, or well, he's on vacation this week, we can't get a hold of him. I mean, it's you
Yeah.
know
Yes, I do know.
you call in there and well, he's not in right now, we'll have him call you later. Well, yeah, 3 days later he might call me back. This group of guys, this team that you guys have put together, usually within an hour we've got answers from
Yeah.
somebody.
Yes, you
I
can
mean,
always get a hold of somebody.
we're all busy, and that is just how it is. And seasonally, things change for everybody, but we all do our best to get a grower the answers they need.
Yeah. Now, on those answers that you need, and really ultimately the results that you got, what are some of the things that you've been able to see over the last 5 years of working with us?
We've seen improved soil health overall. We've seen yield increases that, we used to see where I farm, we used to see the yield monitor hit the 280s every now and then. Occasionally, we might see a 300, and it was a big day. Even though it was a blip on the map, it was pretty cool. We did it, but then you get past that spot in the field, and you start thinking about it, and it's like, well, why did that spot do that and somewhere else isn't? What happened? And now today we see large areas where we're running 280s, 290s consistently. This fall, we were running a test hybrid for our seed company, and I reached out to the guys and I'm like, "So what's the yield cap on this hybrid? Where do you think it'll go?" And they said, "Well, we think it'll get up into the 260s. It's a high drought tolerant hybrid.
Yeah.
What's it doing?" I said, "Well, I think you better keep going higher." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, we just broke through the 310 window, and I don't think we've seen the top yet."
That's right.
And he says, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm not telling you to rebrand the hybrid, but I think you better do some more testing on some higher fertility areas and really see where this thing can go." And so, it's things like that. We're seeing more consistent higher yields, but we're also seeing more consistency in not having lower yields in other areas. So overall, our averages are coming up because we're getting rid of more of those low numbers, but we're adding to the high side also at the same time.
So obviously, in order to do that, Kurt, you must be spending a tremendous amount per acre on fertilizer to achieve those levels. I mean, gosh, you're talking about building soil test levels. You're talking about bringing up your average low spots. Obviously, overall, you're increasing your yield as well. So your fertilizer dollar, gosh dang, it must be what, three, four, five, 10 times more than you were obviously spending previous, correct?
No, we are spending the same and in a lot of cases less per acre now than we were before. We've learned how to become more efficient.
Yes.
We're going to be doing more trials this year. I always like putting out something of a trial somewhere every year so we can continuously learn. We're backing our nitrogen way down. I think this year we were averaging about a 0.7 pound per bushel produced.
Still too high, isn't it? It's too high.
Still too high.
Yep.
We're backing it down. I did have in the one spot where we were running in 300s, we were down to about a point 0.6. I think we can do a point 0.6 average across everything, if not lower. And we're working in that direction. So, you know, that changes your dollars cost structure in a hurry when you can start cutting back in places without sacrificing yield.
What was your nitrogen use efficiency? Did you ever calculate it before you started working with us?
No, honestly, I didn't. I should go back and dig up some records and see where we had been. That was back in the days of gas. We don't do that anymore. We split apply, at least at minimum split apply. If we can do a 3-pass application, we know we can even go lower yet on our actual nitrogen use. A lot of it for me is timing. We're trying to do these tests. We're trying to learn to be better every year, every day, and primarily working alone on the farm. Some things get done in ways we don't always say we would like them to be done. The intention is there. We work to do our best on every acre, but times we have to do what we have to do and get through, whether it's a storm coming in, it's 2 a.m. and I'm just tired, whatever it is. It's just some days that's how it goes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you guys have done an absolutely unbelievable job. And I love how you said, with this knowledge, you kind of became your own agronomist, but you're surrounded with an entire team of agronomists and crop consultants and growers just like yourself. But it has allowed you to not only increase your yield, but also improve your profits. And I literally just say that every time in the openings of these episodes. It's crazy to me because we don't do anything that's magic. But the way we do things, just based off of science and knowledge, it's unreal the kind of value and the things that you can get out of it. So, as we wrap this episode up, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, I kind of asked the question. You've been on the team for a little bit and you're helping us on the sales side. So, you're working with growers also. 2025 is very scary, very, very scary for some people, as some people on our team, but a lot of people that are not on our team. I just had a great conversation with Sam and Preston this morning, and Sam literally was like, yeah, I was talking to my banker who works with us because his banker farms a little bit. So his banker's like, "Yep, you guys still doing the deal?" And he goes, "Yep." He goes, "Okay, yep, you're good to go." And he's like, "Really?" Like that can't be the conversation. And the grower and the banker's like, "No, no, no, man." He's like, "I know what you guys are doing. I have seen, over the last few years, I've seen what the results that you guys have. Like, I'm not worried about you guys. If you need an operating note, yeah, don't worry about it." And they quite literally don't generally get an operating note. And he said the banker told Sam that the only growers other than them that he's working with, the only ones that are cash flowing right now are the farmers that have either off farm income or have a spouse that's bringing in off farm income. He said if they don't have a W-2 job, if there's just a 1099 deal, or if it's from the farm, said 100% of them are in the red this year. And that's very, very scary. And it's one of the reasons why I'm here, so that I can help out growers just like yourself, Curt. So as super long-winded, but I'm pretty passionate about it because it's become a really serious issue in the last couple of months. What are your final thoughts to the grower that's listening to this right now, and urging him or her, urging them to reach out to us? What is that plea for them?
Don't wait too long. Don't get yourself in a position where things are going to get ugly. Reach out, come to one of the events, understand the data that you already have in front of you or that you can go out and collect so you can utilize that to your benefit.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's fantastic. And that's very, very powerful. I agree 100%. So, Curt, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm excited I get to see you over the next few days. But thanks for jumping on real quick. And I'll be seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks, you.
And thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to this episode, this podcast, and go check out our Facebook page. Or just like Curt said, reach out to our team and start increasing profits today. We appreciate you. And as always, we hope that you have a better day.